Welcome to episode 20 of the Moonbase podcast. That snippet you just heard was from a song by Quirky Blurky, our guest today. And in the description, you can find the SoundCloud where he uploads his music, and I recommend you give that a look. It's pretty good. And this week, we will not have an ad, or for this episode, I guess. But what I will ask you is to check out the Patreon. You can find that link in the description too. And we'll post exclusive content there, some art, images from the road, just more on the adventures that you won't be able to find just out on the internet through the regular means of getting Moonbase content. So if you guys could check that out and help support the pod, that'd be greatly appreciated. And now, into our episode. So, how you been? What's new?
Well, it's been alright.
Still working at the shop there?
Yeah, I'm still working at the shop. Not going so well.
No, why is that?
Well, work's been okay. The home thing. I don't know. I'm thinking of taking off soon because I don't know. My sister, she's never really approved of the whole Vagabond thing. So yesterday, remember I told you it was a hairbrush
Yeah.
that started it all? Okay, so that was my hairbrush. Okay, so because I have long hair, I gotta brush my hair, right? I
Yeah.
kept forgetting my brush at the spot, so I brought it with me. And she said, you can't be doing that because you're going to trap germs into the house. And I said, okay. And then her boyfriend jumped in to defend me, and then it sparked this huge argument, which got the neighbors to call the police, and they came, and now the landlord knows that I'm staying there every once in a while. So she told me that if I come back, it's going to have to be super sneaky this time. But there's a catch now. Now she says that instead of sleeping outside, I got to go pay money for a hotel and get a hotel room. And I told her that's going to eat up all my budget. I can't do that. So she said, well, tough luck. So I said, all right, well, it looks like I'm taking off then. She said, no, don't do that. I said, well, what do you want me to do? They're putting me between a rock and a hard place out of nowhere. I don't understand. So anyways, that's how domestication goes for me. Fun. Anyways, how have you been?
I've been alright, just hanging out. Not a whole lot going on. Looking at different, bartending and serving positions, because I got, the license to serve liquor now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was $50 and I don't know, maybe 2 hours of online course.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yeah, so
What did you learn? What kind of stuff did you learn? You learn how to make a Manhattan?
no, it's not it's more just what the laws are for serving alcohol. If you want to learn how to make different drinks and stuff, you got to go to one of the schools for bartending.
Oh. Well, I
Yeah.
bet they'll teach you that when you get into the job, though.
Pardon?
But they'll teach you that when you get into the job.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
But yeah, that's pretty wild with the whole hairbrush situation and all. Sorry to hear that.
Alright. Well, I told her, I was like, well, what am I going to do on the really cold night? Because that's the only time I ever go over there. And she said, I don't know. Go get a hotel. And I said, well, they're like $200 a night. I can't do that.
Yeah.
Now I got to book a ticket somewhere. Maybe up north, I don't know. I got to do some thinking.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
The job's okay. I get pushed around a lot because I'm the new guy. So I don't really like that. Starting to get a little upset. But, it is what it is.
Yeah, that's pretty commonplace in the trade.
Yeah.
How is it similar in the kitchen there or not?
What? Say that again?
Like, is it similar working in a kitchen where you have to, like, put up with people's shit when you're starting out?
Well, to be honest, I've worked a lot of different types of jobs, a lot of different types of industries, and I'd say that people are pretty much the same everywhere you go. You know, they're fickle. Whenever you do too much, they get jealous and they attack you for it. Whenever you do too little, they call you lazy, and there's no sweet spot. You know, you can't ever satisfy anybody. So I've been trying to do that ever since I started working, and I haven't really found anywhere where people aren't weird. You know, so like it's always the first couple of months. It's like fantastic. It's great. You're welcome to the job. You meet everybody. Everything's cool. And then they start to show their true personality. You know, and it gets weird. That's why one of the biggest reasons why I chose the Vagabond lifestyle, because you don't got to deal with that all the time. You know, you only got to work for 3 months, save up your money, and then boom, you're good for the rest of the year. You don't have to deal with people's shit all the time. I don't know how people do it, man. Working full time or even more than full time at a job for like 10, 15 years of their life. I don't know how they don't just blow their brains out. I don't get it. I could never do that.
Yeah, I agree. I'd say I'm, like, in a similar situation for most of the jobs that I've had where after a while it just isn't working for me anymore, you know? I'd say the
Yeah,
longest one I probably had was the military, and then I just started doing like random contract work for a while, and like for like renoing homes or welding or stuff like that, which was pretty nice. And then,
yeah. You make a lot of money doing that.
yeah, it was sweet because I could just like work for a couple days and then just do nothing, hang out. And at the time I had the trailer, so I was just living out of that.
Yeah. Yeah, I did something similar, but to get all those licenses, you need a license. You know, like I
You,
looked in Savannah at trade school for like an electrician or whatever. They said you need a class 5. Why? Why do you need a class 5? I'm going to be taking classes, not driving around. Like, I don't understand.
what do you
I don't
mean?
have a class 5. You know,
What do you mean?
I don't want to get a class 5.
Oh, like a driver's license?
Yeah, driver's license. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So that's one of the requirements, which makes no sense. You know, and I could go to school for psychology and do all those kids. You know, get out and get all frustrated that I can't find work because where are you going to find work being a psychologist?
Yeah, I
In a
don't know
liberal
if I
arts,
could go
you
back to
know?
university now. Like thinking
Yeah,
about the way I was out of high school and like just going through different phases of life and actually like learning how the world works compared to like out of high school, I feel like it would just be like either irritating or sad, you know?
yeah. Well, I got my passport now, so I'm thinking of just going to another country. You know,
What
I don't know
countries
which
are you
one, but
thinking of? Oh, don't have any in mind?
well, I was thinking somewhere in the Balkans,
Right
you
on.
know, or maybe China. You know, somewhere where the Western way of thinking is like not there. You know,
Yeah,
I want to be away from the Western way of thinking for a little bit. See what it's like on the other side.
my plan is to cut through, so go west and then cut through the US to Mexico, hang out there for a bit, and then go over to Romania.
That's a good idea.
I gotta renew my like Romanian passport and stuff, but it's sweet because if I go over there, I can like find like legit work. I don't have to do like
Yeah,
cash jobs or anything like that.
yeah. Canada doesn't seem to be doing too well. You know,
Yeah,
from what I read, the economy is not great.
like
Like down here, you could still make $18 an hour working at like DGX, the Dollar General, doing nothing. You know, all day. That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
every
But
like
up in
trades
Canada,
job I had, some dude comes to me at some point and is like, let me tell you something. I came from XYZ country, like the Philippines or like Iraq or like some like country where they would think that coming to Canada would be a way better life. And they
uh,
all told me that I come here now, I work like 60, 70 hours a week. I like barely have time to do anything. Like my whole life is just working to like support like a basic family, you know?
yeah, that's what capitalism gets you. A bunch of greedy motherfuckers and people, that work for them and make them all the money. That's all you got. There's no in between anymore. It used to be, not anymore.
Even with business owners too, though, and like I've met so many people that are business owners that are really like in a weird way going paycheck to paycheck. Like if there's a big enough fuck up, then like they could go under, you know? It's mainly like the Walmarts and the Amazons and stuff like that are just like making record profits. But even now, people are starting to steal enough that like it seems like that's making a decent dent in their profits.
Yeah, well, you got to fight back somehow. Like when I was at that restaurant job, okay? Now, I worked full-time, and full-time was my contract. But they only gave me like 35 hours a week. But this one week, they only gave me 17. And they kept cutting me. Like, I was working 3 hours a day, and they said, no, you got to go home now. We don't have any business. I looked at them. I was like, what the fuck, man? Yeah, I don't... Like, I'm trying to think about all the recipes and stuff and how to cook the food, but now you got me thinking how I'm going to save up money. So I started fucking up all the food, because the only thing on my mind was how am I going to, eat or whatever. So the way I thought about it was, like, why would you cut me when we have a contract for me working full-time, but you're not giving me full-time hours? Like, what the hell is that all about? And I talked to the guy about it right before the health inspector came. And he said, well, the business isn't doing so well, and we got to start cutting people's hours. And I said, well, you signed me on for a full-time contract. It's in the contract. You can't just cut my hours like that. I can take you to court. He said, well, then do that, because there's nothing really I can do. I was like, well, what the hell, man? That's what capitalism gets for.
Yeah, I found it's getting similar in the trades too, where like you'll get hired on, they'll like use you while there's surplus work, and then like when there's a dead zone, they'll just like lay you off more or less, you know?
Yeah, meanwhile, politicians are sitting around all fucking day, going on vacation, making like, you're using taxpayers' money, by the way, making like $100,000 a year. Like, what the hell, man? What do they do? What do they do for society? You wonder about these things. You see them on TV all the time. That's about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting how like the least necessary jobs directly affect people, like like the most necessary jobs get paid the least and the least necessary ones get paid the most.
Yeah.
Like you could move
Yep.
money around in a bank, just different people's money, which is like from the start just a weird imaginary system that people have just agreed upon.
Do you
And
know
you can
anything
make
about
millions a
fractional?
year. What
Do
was
you know
that?
anything about fractional reserve banking?
About
You know
what?
how it works? Fractional reserve banking?
No.
No? Okay, let me get this. Alright, so for each deposit that a bank gets, they're allowed to borrow against it using the Fed's money, because the Fed is not a federal branch. It's its own thing. It's a private entity. Okay? They call it the Federal Reserve to throw people off. But they're the ones printing all the money, right? So the banks, when they get your deposit of $100 or $1,000, let's say, they can take that money, borrow the money from the Fed up to $1 million on that $1,000 out of nowhere. It's just thin air. They're just numbers on a computer. That's it. And that's what creates the debt. Okay? That's why our debt ceiling is so high. That and we have trade deficits with countries and all that. That's a little different. But that's how our banking system works. So for every $1,000 that you put in the bank, they're allowed to borrow up to $1 million. That's what they use to play the stock market. It's just fantasy money. It doesn't exist.
Interesting. Have you ever heard of the computers that they have, like, to replace the Wall Street trading floors?
No.
So they now, like, you know how in the 90s you'd see pictures of, like, traders just going crazy over, like, and handing over tickets and whatnot?
Yeah.
So now all these like big investment companies just have a computer in the building there, and it trades against people that are trying to day trade. So at one point I got really into like researching how day trading works, and every once in a while, like if you get the wrong stock, it'll analyze like how good of an investment it would look like to a day trader, and then just once like completely like bet the opposite, and then just like take everyone's money. And they have so much
Yep.
resources that they could just like make a stock be from like nothing to like hundreds of dollars, you know?
Yep. Yep. There's a lot of shady stuff goes on with banking and finances, you know. Like, one of my favorite movies is The Big Short. It's about the 2008 crash. It has Ryan Gosling's in it.
Brad Pitt,
The
I
guy
think
from,
too.
yeah, Brad Pitt's in it. Yeah, yeah. Have you seen it?
I think I saw part of it. I don't know if I saw the whole movie. I think
Okay.
the guy
Well,
from
in
The
there,
Office is in it too.
yeah, the guy from The Office. Yeah, yeah, I was going to say, I forget his name. Um, so anyways, in that movie, it's a little Hollywood, but there's a lot of truth in it, okay? If you look at all the financial instruments that they use, the movie does a really good job at explaining them, okay? Now, when the housing market was at its peak right before 2008, a group of people noticed that the market was going to crash. They seen all the indicators and all that, so they started to bet against it, okay? They didn't know how bad it really was until they started to investigate it, and that's what the movie's all about. And holy crap, man. Okay, so basically the housing market was a lot like the housing market is in Canada right now. Basically propped up by nothing but fantasy numbers, okay? The only thing that is keeping the Canadian housing market from crashing right now is the stock market and people trading on the mortgages. Now, as soon as people start defaulting on their mortgages, which they already have, it's going to happen all over again. And the Canadian economy is basically is solely dependent on the housing market because the rest of the country is all their industries. It's not good. It's not great. So it's going to be like 2008 times like maybe 3, which is not great. Okay, it's bad. You should really do a lot of research on that. I have, and it's scary. You know, that's one of the reasons why I don't want to come back to Canada. I was looking hard at it, but I don't know, man. If the economy crashes, like, where are you going to get money? There's not going to be any money left. You know, Trudeau's spending like $9 billion to Ukraine for no reason, and now with the new Gaza-Palestine thing, or Israel-Palestine thing, he's going to send more. You know, we can't just keep doing that. It's not going to work. You know, so crazy.
Yeah, I've been looking at making my exit from Canada for like maybe like 2 years now, but actually taking like a serious look at what my options are for living in different countries. And I don't know, I even think at this point like you could live in Mexico and have a decent life like compared to here, because even like butter now is like $10 for 4 sticks of butter, you know, like a pound of butter.
Is it $4? Wow, that's crazy.
Like give or take, like it's like 8.50 or something, but after tax and all, like might as well be $10.
Okay, so how much is milk?
It's like 6 or 7 bucks.
Ooh, that's that's not great.
Yeah.
Jeez. Huh. How much is a steak? Like a New York, just a
Just
single
a
New York
strip
strip.
loin.
Yeah.
Um,
How much would that be?
you're probably looking at like $15 if it's just the single, and then sometimes you can find like packs. You could find like a 3 or 4 pack if you go to like Costco or something like that for maybe like 35 to 40 bucks. So you're getting a couple dollars off per steak.
Huh. Pretty expensive.
Yeah, for sure. Like when I went down to Texas, it was crazy. Like compared to the prices up here, you could get steak for like $7 a steak. It's like half price. Same with gas too. It was three
Oh,
dollars for a gallon when I went.
yeah. Yeah, we've always been, well, Canada has always been screwed on gas. Like, we paid at least 2.5 times what the Americans pay.
Yeah,
That's why one of the reasons why I didn't drive when I was in Canada. It was too expensive. When I went to Vancouver, when I first started to drive, it was $2.70 a liter. A liter.
damn, that's
Yeah.
crazy. Is it more expensive in Vancouver in general?
Yeah. Yeah, everything in Vancouver is more expensive. Like when I was there, housing was like I got priced out of the housing market there. But now I couldn't even like get away with what I was getting away with before. Like it doesn't exist anymore. I was luckily paying $500. I was living in a shack, granted, but you know I'm still paying only 500. Now, if my uncle was to rent me out that place, it'd be $800.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost as bad as Toronto. In fact, Toronto's a little bit better in certain areas. Like if you get out to the outskirts, like Scarborough and all that, you can find a bungalow, like a room in a bungalow for maybe $750. Whereas in Vancouver, in the entire greater Vancouver area, you couldn't find that if you tried. But once you get into the middle of the city, like if you were renting a condo, good luck finding like even a living room, sleeping on a couch for less than 1,000. There's no way. But in Vancouver, you could probably find a living room situation for about 850, 900. You know, which isn't great,
Yeah.
but that's how that compares.
I've
That's
seen
what
some
New York
pretty
like.
crazy rental ads recently too, where they'll like be like, you can only be like a Punjabi vegetarian to like live in this room. Like, we won't accept
Mm-hmm.
anyone else.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that too. I'm surprised that's legal.
It's not.
Oh, it's not. Oh, okay.
But
Well,
like
people are
by
getting
the
away with it.
time you report them, and they're probably not going to do anything about it by the time everything gets processed, you know?
Yeah.
Just
The
wild.
only thing in the United States that's a little janky is in certain states they're allowed to charge you a application fee. So they'll charge you $100 just for the piece of paper to be able to write your name and all that stuff on. And if you don't get the place, you don't get your money back. So you're just wasting $100 every time you go to get an application. That's the only thing that I've seen that's it's legal, but it shouldn't be. You know, never seen that in Canada.
Yeah, no,
But
I
other than
haven't
that,
either.
the housing is a lot more reasonable. There's a lot less of a you got to be this and you got to be that. You know, sexual favors in exchange for a room type deal. You see a lot of that, in, like especially Vancouver. When I was there looking for a place right before I did the Vagabond thing, that's all I came across was those types of ads. There was no legit ads that I could find, you know, not for my price range. So
Yeah, that's crazy. I haven't ever seen the sexual favors one.
you've never seen one of those?
No.
But you must be a female with, it says we can negotiate the price. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I might have then.
And
Yeah,
then,
that
yeah,
makes
they
sense.
don't say it explicitly,
Okay.
but if you read between the lines, you know what they're saying.
Yeah, I think I have seen some of those that are quite dubious.
Yeah, things are getting pretty out there. Now, I heard if you go to the Philippines, right, you could take, if you had $1,000 American, okay, and you went to the Philippines, you could live there for like 5, 7 years in a nice place right on the coast, eating good food, you know what I mean? And you wouldn't have to worry about working. $1,000.
Is
Try
that the
that over here.
goal? Yeah. I've looked into Thailand too, and at the Tiger Muay Thai gym, they have like villas, and for a really nice villa, it's like 1500 US for a couple months to stay there, which isn't bad at all because you're getting food, training, and like the villa itself, you know?
Yep.
That's something I definitely want to do at some point.
And the best part about it is that there's no, well, not no, but there's way less people from the West over there, you know? You're not running into all those woke people, or just people from the West in general. You know, because they're starting to rub me the wrong way. Okay, I can't stand it anymore. They don't think the way that I do. I can't make friends. Okay, you know, it's like they grind my gears.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I feel like there are quite a bit of Westerners over going to Thailand to like go to fight gyms, but I don't think you're gonna get much like many woke types at a Muay Thai gym, you know?
Yeah,
Like it's hard to
yeah,
be woke when you're kicking the shit out of people and people are kicking the shit out of you. You don't really have time for all that nonsense.
yeah. Like in poor countries, well, actually Thailand's not that poor, but in poor countries, they don't have time for any of that crap because they got to deal with like surviving.
Yeah,
You
like
know,
real
I
world
find that
stuff.
they have a better culture over there. They have a better sense of like what it's like to actually live life. You know, over here there's something wrong with us. It's like they're putting stuff in the water or something. You know, people are weird.
I mean, as far
It's
as
hard to
I've
get along
read,
with
they
people.
do put stuff in the water.
Yeah, yeah, they do. They dump a lot of stuff. They put the fluoride and all that.
Yeah, like there's something like on toothpaste, if you read, it says not to ingest more than a pea size amount of the toothpaste because it has enough fluoride. But like I looked into it one time, and if you drink as much water as you're supposed to, and you drink it all from the tap, you're getting like more than that amount of fluoride in the toothpaste.
Yeah.
Or atrazine too, that's an interesting one.
What is it? Atrazine?
Yeah, like
I never heard of that.
apparently I haven't looked into it too much, but apparently it's in like the water too, like the tap water. But also they did experiments with atrazine and frogs, or like it's used in like a fertilizer or something, and it just made the frogs be like hermaphrodites or like asexual or like it was weird.
Like Alex Jones making the frogs gay?
Yeah, yeah,
What
like
is?
that. I looked
Okay.
like that was like not even like him bullshitting. It was real. Alex Jones wasn't even lying.
Yeah, you wonder why they shut him up. You know.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of things like that. You'll notice that whenever there's a sensitive topic like that, and everybody is on board with it, except for a few people that question things, you'll notice that the narrative always erases the opinions of the small people. You know,
Yeah.
you wonder why.
Yeah. Like if you look back at it too, like a lot of the shit that people said Alex Jones said that was just insane was like they have this island, they're bringing kids to it, they're doing awful things and blackmailing people. And then like 10 years later, whoop-de-doo, like
Yep, yep. We have to remember, like, rich people, when you get to a certain level of rich, it corrupts you. You know what I mean? There's nothing else to do. You've done everything. So now you start delving into the dark parts of yourself. And when you have that kind of money and people start to catch on to what you're doing, you use that money to defend your position. That's logic. That makes sense. That's what humans do. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to go to jail.
yeah,
You know?
it's like a raised version of when people just like watch too much porn and just end up watching gay shit even though they're not gay. You're just rich and can
Yeah,
do
exactly.
whatever you want, so whatever you can't do becomes like the forbidden fruit.
Exactly. It's human nature. That's why, like, when it comes to spirituality, okay, the one thing that I've always thought was weird was all of the books on spirituality, like the Bible and the Quran and all that, none of them ever mentioned what humanity is supposed to do with wealth. Because the world is filled with so much stuff. We have endless water, we have endless metals, we have endless, like, things that we can just manipulate into building stuff. You know what I mean? Like gold and silver and all this stuff, right? But there's never any advice on how to handle all of that. So you'll notice that all of the problems that we have socially goes down to wealth every time. The haves and the have-nots, right? So,
Well, I don't know.
like, what are you supposed to do with all this stuff?
I think a lot of the Bible and the Quran talk about just living like a really pious life, and like a lot of the saints and people in both of those books are generally like beggars or stuff like that. Like if you look at like Jesus's story, it's more or less like he's a vagabond. He just hangs out
Yeah,
with like a prostitute and like travels around and like says his philosophical ideas.
yeah. Well, no, I don't mean like, yeah. There's advice on how to live a singular life, like as an individual. But I'm talking about humanity as a whole. Like, you'll notice that the Bible has things like the pharaohs in it, and the pharaohs kept the Jews as slaves and all this, and the slaves didn't have anything, the pharaohs had everything. But what about all of humanity? You know, like, what are we supposed to do? Like, are we ever going to get on the same page? Or is there always going to be people out there that have a lot of stuff, and then people that don't? You know what I mean? Like, is that just the way it's going to be? That's always fascinated me. Like,
Yeah, I
I
guess
don't
like
know.
if you're poor, you kind of take like that, like I'm religious and whatnot, and when the day of revelation comes, then it'll be like good for me because I'm pure-hearted or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, there's a little bit of selfishness in that, you know? That's what how I look at it. Like, that's what this rapture's supposed to come and kill all the bad people and leave all the good people left over, right? Well, what about all the bad people? They just don't get a chance? Like, what the hell, man? We're humans. We're not perfect, you know? I think that we should be given a second chance. That's what I think. Like, even people like Jeff Bezos. I don't like the guy, but do you think he knows what he's really doing? I think that he's corrupted by the wealth, you know what I mean? And if he was given a second chance, maybe he would change. But if a rapture's going to come and kill him, he doesn't have that second chance. I don't know, it's weird. That's my opinion.
Yeah. It won't only kill him, it'll condemn him to an eternity of fire.
Well, there you go. I don't know if that's better.
It's probably a lot worse if that's the way things go for like probably most people. I think they have a set number of how many people are supposed to go to heaven when that happens.
Yeah, I just, I think that all of humanity should have a chance, you know? Like, why put us on this planet that's so corrupting to begin with, and then only give us one chance, you know? What if, a lot of people aren't really smart enough when given wealth, you know? They don't understand how corrupting it can be. And then that's the life that they live, and then they're eternally damned? I don't know. A little far-fetched to me.
Yeah. I don't know. There's like so much about different theology that doesn't really add up, but I always like looking into it and reading about it.
Yeah, me too. It's interesting. Maybe there's truth in there somewhere, who knows? Of course, we're only like one person, so we can't really know all of the truth anyways. We could live 1,000 lives and still not even scratch the surface.
Yeah. I find it interesting too how like some people just are able to invest in it to a point that it gives them like peace, you know?
Yeah.
Like no matter what bad happens or whatnot, like I find people that are like religious to a certain point, they just like attribute it to the will of God, you know?
Yep. Yeah. I have my own spirituality, you know what I mean? I think we all should. I don't think there's one set of rules that everybody can follow. I think we all have our own journey, you know?
Yeah.
But anyways, I don't know, do you have any topics?
Topics?
Yeah. Any questions?
What do you think about the direction r/Vagabond is taken?
I don't know. I'm not really feeling it, to be honest. It's the reason why I'm not really on it anymore. I don't know if I'll go back. It seems to be taking the same direction as the rest of it is, you know? Like, all the cool people. Well, there's still cool people on there. But we're being drowned out, you know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of fluff showing up lately. And same with lurkers, you know? Lurkers are popping up all over the place, and you can obviously tell that they're lurkers. Because when you live this life, you know the little nuances, you know? You can sniff it out.
Yeah.
It's like they're pretending to do what we do, and they just say the stupidest stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Like
I find it's a lot of people that are like, oh, like I hate my current situation and how do I hit the road, you know? And you can tell this person hasn't done any sort of research. They haven't even like if you're that interested, you could always read the subreddit's like info page or whatnot and get most of what you need from there.
okay, hold on. I got a couple of kids approaching me here. I don't know what they're gonna do. What the fuck? Can I help you? I'm on the phone. I'm on the phone. I'm talking to somebody on the phone. Yeah. All right. I don't know, dude. All right. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. Were they just watching out for their block?
No, it's just a couple of normal kids. I'm not in the boom, so they're just like regular kids.
Okay.
Yeah. They're not gangsters or anything like that.
What were we talking about?
Vagabond. r/Vagabond.
Yeah, yeah. I find it'll be a lot of posts where it's someone that's like, oh, like I hate my life. I'm gonna choose this situation for myself that will make it exponentially worse. Do you have any advice?
Yeah, I kind of predicted that would happen. Like with the economy starting to crash, people are going to start doing that. People that are used to having comforts and all that, they're going to look to us now that they don't have anything left for all this advice and stuff. Now, we have one of two choices, okay, seeing as we've been through it in the good times, all right? We can say, well, fuck you, because you never really, all you ever done was spit on me anyways. Why do I got to give you advice, Or we can stay humble and help them out anyways. It's really a choice. But at the end of the day, most of these people, in my experience, they're not going to listen anyway, because they are so used to comfort that that's all they're going to do is chase that. So when you tell them how to survive out here, they're just going to resent it, So it's like in the Bible, right? It says you're supposed to teach a man to fish, because if you only give him a fish, he'll only eat for a day. But if you teach him to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. Well, some people, they don't want to know how to fish. They want you to give them fish. So you have to deny them fish. And when you go to teach them how to fish and they don't want to learn, well, you got to deny them that too. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I generally don't interact with them. Like, if it seems like a half-baked idea some kid has because, like, they're mad at their parents or whatever, then I choose not to engage.
Yeah. There's a bunch of kids anyways. When they come across a train hopping video and they're like, oh, hey, maybe that's the way out. I don't gonna listen to my parents, I'll just go be a vagabond. Like, it's that easy.
Yeah.
It's an actual decision you gotta make, It's not something taken lightly.
Yeah.
But
And even if you have experience, you could always just end up, like, in the middle of nowhere. And if
that's
you
why I don't
don't
train
have,
hop, because I don't know what I would do. Out in the
yeah.
middle of nowhere with no water, what would I do? I know my limits. And until I find an old guy willing to teach me, then I'm not doing it.
Yeah. Sure.
I'll do what I'm comfortable with,
Yeah.
Until that doesn't work anymore, and then I'll find something new, I guess. I don't know. Gotta survive somehow. And really, it's not that difficult. Like, in the modern age, with things like food stamps and all of that, it's not as stark as it once was. Like, think about the original hobos, the guys that just hop trains to go find work at, like, fields and stuff,
Yeah.
Eating was something that they didn't do often, So, I'm going to go somewhere else. These kids are starting to piss me off. They're, like, yelling and shit now. I don't know if you can hear that.
Yeah, I can, for sure.
Bunch of dorks.
I was wondering what that was at the first part of it, but
Yeah, I don't know. They're just running around playing hide and seek or something. Screaming at each other. Being annoying is what they're doing.
yeah.
It's starting to get cold anyway. I'm going to start walking. At least it's not raining. That's good. At least where I am.
One of the buddies I worked with in the military was saying that he had like a deployment through Africa, and then now whenever he's like walking by parks, if he hears a kid scream like that, he like just has a flashback to Africa, because like, and there you don't know when they're screaming for like they need help or like they're just playing somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like growing up in the hood. Whenever you hear a gun or like a bang or whatever,
Yeah.
oh shit, what the hell was that?
Yeah, like
You never know.
someone's car just ripping by, but it just like fucking makes a pop as it goes by.
It's like, fuck, they're shooting up the neighbors again. Damn it. Hope I don't get hit with a stray.
Yeah. I find though when they're coming towards you, like you can hear the buzz, like it makes a very distinct noise, you know?
Yeah. Well, you learn how to distinguish that. Like if it's like okay, I had a friend come over once. He lived in one of the not the rich neighborhoods, but the upper middle class. He come over to my house, right? And we heard all the bangs in the background. He's like, "Oh my God, we're gonna get shot." And I was like, "Dude, that's just firecrackers, man. Calm down." You can tell the difference because you can hear the crackles after. All right, it's just firecrackers. Calm down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find like the actual shots sound more like a slap, and then if it's going like by your ear or something, it'll sound like a bee kind of like buzzing past really fast. And then if it's over your head, you'll hear like the first bang that's still like a clap, and then like you'll hear the sound barrier break when it passes over your head.
Yeah. Yeah, not only that, like gunshots have this tendency to echo in a certain pattern, whereas firecrackers don't do that as much. They still echo a little bit, but it's not the same. It's like a
Yeah.
distinct difference.
I remember as a kid, like when I had like a just like a piece I bought, and we were fucking around like me and my friends, and we'd wait for like the subway or a train to pass by, and we'd go to like different yards and stuff and wait for when the train was going to like mask the sound of it, just so we could like clank or whatnot.
Yeah. I remember when I was in Nashville and I bought my gun, the people that I was staying with, they said, "We should go fire it somewhere." I said, "Nope, I'm waiting." They said, "Well, what are you waiting for?" I said, "Okay." So I bought it at the tail end of June, right? So I was waiting for the 4th of July. So as soon as the 4th of July hit, I came home from work and I said, "All right, guys, let's go down to the river. We're going to shoot it off now." They're like, "Oh, you were waiting for the 4th of July." I was like, "Yeah." Because, it's late,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, there's just fireworks and all
And I'm
hell
just
breaking
fucking one
loose.
idiot, man. Okay, so I told everybody, I was like, "Yo, so we're going to shoot into the river, okay? Because I don't want nobody getting hurt, right?" So I
Yeah.
gave it to this one kid, fucking BJ, this fucking fat guy, and he shoots it off into the fucking air. I'm like, "What are you doing, man? What if that hits a kid? We're going to be on the fucking news, man. You want to be responsible for killing a kid? What's wrong with you?" I smacked him in the back of the fucking head. "You fucking idiot. What's wrong with you?" Yeah, I'd never let him touch my gun again. I said, "If you fucking go near it again, I'm going to shoot you with it. You're going to be minus a foot, buddy." Fucking dumbass.
Yeah, that's wild.
Some people, man.
So you guys just shot in the river after, or did you dip?
Sorry, say that again? You kind of cut out a little bit.
Did you guys shoot in the river after, or did you dip after that?
No, we shot it for maybe half an hour or whatever. And then nobody was showing up, so we just left, It was right down okay, so we were by the tracks, right? If you look at a map of Nashville, you'll see downtown Nashville, then you'll see the river, right? There's like a park there with an amphitheater, and then right next to that is the track. We live just down where that forest area is, where the tracks are. Oh, excuse me. And then I walked in between the park and where we were staying, and that's where we shot it off. And every once in a while, I would shoot it off anyways. Like just coming home from work, I just let a couple off. The cops didn't care. Nobody cared.
Where just like at that like ravine or at that river spot?
Yeah.
Right
Are you
on.
looking on the map right now? Can you see it?
No, but I
Or,
can.
yeah, bring up on the map of Nashville, and I'll guide you through it. Now, I tried the same thing when I was in Savannah. I told you about this. When I was next to the university there, that was a bad idea. That was a bad idea. The cops showed up and everything. I almost got caught then. That was stupid. I shouldn't have done that.
Right, I'm looking at a map of Nashville.
Okay, so you see downtown there,
Yeah,
and then you'll see there's a park with an amphitheater in it. It's like
there's
there's
a
a
lot
pedestrian
of
bridge
green
right
area.
next to it. The John Segenthaler pedestrian bridge, and then there's an amphitheater right next to it. You see that?
Uh, I see
A
like a
little
Johnny
triangular park.
Cash museum and Tennessee State University.
Tennessee. Oh, that's too far up. Okay, so go to where the river is. Like slide over to the river there. You'll see
The
the
Cumberland
riverfront,
River?
the Cumberland. Yeah. So you'll see the riverfront stop for the transit there. It says riverfront. It's a big blue train. You see that?
Like, which way am I going from downtown? Left or right? Because it just kind of cuts across Nashville.
Okay, you know what? Go to the search and type in Ascend Amphitheater. ASCEND. And then search that up.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
Okay, it's a triangular park, right? Okay, so you'll see the river right there, and then if you zoom in, you'll see tracks.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, if you follow that south, or well, southwest, you'll come to an area where it's like a triangular forested area right next to it, like a
Southeast, right?
southwest. Or east, yeah, sorry, you're right. Southeast. Southeast. Yeah, and then it's a triangular
And then there's a
forested area.
yard.
Yeah, there's like an old warehouse yard there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we stayed right left of that. That was our camp area right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, and so if you go back and trace the tracks back up, you'll see Rolling Mill Hill Greenway in green. That was right about where we shot off the shots.
Okay, Cumberland River Greenway.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. That's where we
Okay.
fired off the
There's
shots.
a bunch of like restaurants and stuff around it.
Yeah, the Pinewood and all that. Yeah, yeah. There's a bunch of like tech companies in there too.
Right on.
Yeah, and that was the spot.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
For the one in Toronto, it was like under the bridge at Old Mill Station. I don't know if you're familiar with the transit way in Toronto.
You mean the subway? Or are you
Yeah,
talking about the giant set of tracks that they got going through the middle of the city?
like no, yeah, the subway, but there's a point where there's a pretty big park and there's like a bridge crossing over it.
Okay, how close to the CN Tower is it?
Um, so from the CN Tower, you'd have to go north a bit, and then there's a subway line that would go like east to west or west to east.
Okay, oh, you mean the Green Line? Okay,
Line two, yeah.
and that goes to. Am I going like
From it
east?
goes from like Kipling to uh fuck, I forget what's on the other end. But it just goes from one end of the city to another, like from somewhere around Etobicoke to like Scarborough.
Okay, are you talking about the Rosedale Ravine lands?
It's like the TTC subway.
Oh, the TTC. Okay,
But yeah, under that bridge there,
okay,
and it was funny because before like Buddy and I, it was before weed was legal, but we went there and found a park bench and we were just like smoking some bongs. And a security guard came and was like checking out the park to like, I guess, do lockup or something. And he looked at us and just said, "Hey, like, what's up? How's it going?" Like, he didn't even acknowledge the bong or anything. And then just continued about
nice.
his day. And then maybe like 20 minutes after he left, we were just shooting in the park.
Okay, nice.
It's just funny because he was probably there to look for exactly the sort of things we like were doing up there, you know.
Yeah. I find that with security guards. You either get the really anal dude that will just, fuck with you for no reason, or you'll get the guys that'll let you get away with anything. Like, I
Yeah.
worked at, when I was working at, what was it? Whole Foods. Okay, I got in real tight with the security guard. He was this, Samoan dude from Miami, okay? Now, this guy, he was an ex-con, right? And he carried the gun at work. He wasn't supposed to because he was on probation and all that. They didn't know that. But he told me about it, and he let me get away with anything. Okay? And when I used to, not steal, but I took the stat meats or all the steaks that they throw away or whatever, I'd slip him a couple of them, We just
Right
here,
on.
man, or on the low, take this. I seasoned it with the season that you like. You like the Cajun stuff. Remember that.
That's awesome.
I used to give him all the good meat. Yeah, we were friends. He's a cool guy. In fact, he taught me about Cash App, because I didn't know him before that. I was getting checks at work, and then he taught me about Cash App, and I started getting direct deposit. Didn't have to go to a cash checking place and have them steal 15% of it or whatever it was.
Okay. So you can get money directly to your Cash App in the States?
Yeah, it's you can set it up for direct deposit.
Huh.
You can get it for tax refunds too.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Here, like everything I know is that you either get a check or you get like a direct deposit to your bank, though.
Yeah, the Big Five here is trying to have a corner on that. I don't know if there's any equivalents up in Canada for
I don't
Cash
think
App.
there are.
Because I don't think Cash App operates in Canada, does it?
No, as far as I know, it doesn't.
No, I think that's America only.
Yeah, same with like
Yeah.
Venmo.
I'll never forget when I went down to Seattle and I went to the banks to try and get my Canadian money changed over. They got so ornery with me that one of them called the security guard to escort me out. And I asked them, I was like, well, why? They said, we don't accept Canadian money. You got to leave. If you don't have a bank account with us, you got to leave. And I was like, oh, okay, well, where am I supposed to go? We don't care. Go. Leave.
That's wild. Yeah, I found it weird in the States how hard it is to exchange Canadian to US. Like I went to a bank in Alabama and tried to do it, and they told me I had to make an account and wait like 2 weeks for it to get processed.
Yeah, Canadian money isn't accepted down there. Like, if you find Canadian change, they throw it away. Okay?
They
Like,
throw
up
it
in
away?
Canada, yeah, they throw it away. If they find a dime or a nickel or whatever, they might keep the 25 cents and change that over, or they'll put it in a bucket or whatever. But anything under that, they throw it in the trash, man.
Huh.
That's how worthless it is to them. Yeah,
Yeah,
when my
it's weird.
sister visited us in Winnipeg back in 2013, I think it was, she had never seen Canadian money before. And that was just right after we got the plastic money, right?
Yeah.
So she goes to exchanges USD with my bank. And she looks at it, she's like, what the hell is this? Right in front of the bank teller. She's like, oh my God, it's Monopoly money. And she stretches it and stuff and puts it, holds it up in the air. She's like, oh my God, it's fake. we were like, Caitlin, stop. Okay, we're in a bank right now. This is not, we don't do that kind of stuff. She's like, but it's fake money. Yeah, she never stopped that. She still thinks it's fake. When I went down to here in Portland the last time, I had, I think it was 5,000 Canadian or whatever. So I had every denomination. I showed it to her. She's like, wow, it still looks fake. I was like, yeah, I guess so. Whatever.
That's pretty funny. So what does it have to be made of like cotton for it to be real money?
I guess, I don't know. The only thing that I noticed that's different between Canadian and American money is Canadian money is very clean. It doesn't matter what you have, it's very clean. But American money is dirty to the touch. Okay, if you handle too much of it, you'll get this like film on your hands of just grossness. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only difference I see. It's all fake, man. It's just fucking dead guys on paper.
I wonder which one's harder to counterfeit.
That's a good question. I don't know.
I think the Canadian would probably be harder, I feel like, just because it has so much random, like, holographic crap all over it and, like, transparent parts and stuff.
Yeah.
I see a lot of
I'm sure
ads on Instagram, though, for just dudes that'll have, like, stacks of counterfeit Canadian cash that are looking to sell it to people, but I never really looked into it too much.
Yeah. All I know is I made money on my transactions. When I went to the States, I made money on the Canadian money, and when I came back, I made money back on that because I was lucky enough to hit the exchange rate at the right time.
Right on. That's cool.
All pure luck. So, yeah, lucky me.
How much is that, like, profit-wise?
That's not much. It's like $100 here or there or whatever for each
Okay.
transaction.
That's not
I
bad
do
still.
1,000 at a time, right? So it varies. But,
That's not too
I
bad.
started out with 15,000 Canadian, and when I went down to the States, I had 10,000 roughly, or maybe it was like 12, something like that. And then after my entire journey, I ended up with 7,000 of the original in American, and then I had made 4,000 at the jobs. So I didn't lose any money doing what I did. I had it all when I came back.
Nice.
When I went back over the border, I still had the 15,000 left over.
Right on.
Now, when I was in Canada, I spent quite a bit. I went through like 5,000. So when I went back to the States, I only had 7,000. And then there's my little caches that I buried around, and I don't know how much is there. So I'm doing all right.
Right on. That's
Yeah.
good to hear.
Yeah, I don't have to work, but I choose to.
Do you
It doesn't
find...
work after a while.
Sorry,
Go
what?
ahead.
I was just gonna ask, do
Okay.
you find not having any vices helps with saving up the money?
Yes, a lot. That's other than housing, I found that vices, when I was doing them, that was the most chunk of money that ever came out of my wallet. But now that I don't do any of that, I get to keep it all. You know?
Yeah.
The only things that I really spend money on is food or coffees or whatever, but that doesn't really add up. So, yeah, I'm doing pretty good.
Right on.
Not only that, like, monetarily is one thing, but everything else, like my physical, I find that I have so much more energy now and so much more clarity, you know, in my thinking and stuff. It's a lot better now than it was before. I'm not tired as much, you know. I have to like really push myself to get tired.
Yeah, right
And
on.
it's not hard falling asleep either. Like even if I'm not tired, when I go to sleep at night, I fall asleep easy. It's not like a struggle, you know. So it's just more of a balance.
Did you have a period where that was difficult, or was it just off the get-go fine?
Well, I don't know. I'm pretty lucky because, well, first of all, I didn't know that if you stop drinking cold turkey, that you could die. I had no idea. So I was drinking 12 packs a day, okay, or 124, whatever. And then I stopped cold turkey. Okay, so I started to get all these, like, almost seizures and like heart palpitations that really felt like I was gonna die. And I had no idea. I thought it was just the come down. I had no idea you could die from it until I went to the hospital and they said, "Yeah, man, you can't do that. You could die." And I was like, "Oh, huh, okay." Well, so after that period, which was about maybe a month and a half, everything was fine. I went back to normal, and it just felt a lot better, you know. It's
Did
like
they give you
going through
anything?
your. Sorry, go ahead.
Did they give you anything?
Did they give it? No, I didn't. They offered, but I said no. They said you should wean yourself off, and I said, well, it's already been like 3 weeks, so I think I'll just tough it out. And if I die, I die. It is what it is. And they offered to give me something. I can't remember what it was. Or something. And I said, no, it's all right. I'll tough it out. I'm tough. I'll be all right.
Yeah, I've gotten diazepam for that before.
Diazepam?
Yeah, like Valium.
Yeah. It was some type of opiate. I don't remember what it was.
Well, it's a
But I said no.
benzodiazepine. So alcohol and benzos affect your GABA receptors, and then they kind of like suppress it while you're on it. But when you're off them, then you get like more than you're used to, and that's what causes you to seize.
Oh. Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
they're
stopped it all at the same time, too. I stopped doing crack. I stopped. That was the picture that I sent you with the mask.
yeah,
I stopped. Right. Yeah, that was the day that I stopped. The day I took that picture. So I was off of meth. I was off of crack. I was off of smoking, alcohol, and weed all at the same time.
huh?
Yeah. But a month and a half later, I was fine.
How
All
was
worked out.
it like day to day though when you stopped? Was it just like a rough time, or were you generally
Yeah,
good?
not any rougher than usual. Besides, I like screamo music, and I like to do that like when I have the time. So all I did was blast the speakers and just scream my lungs out. So I don't know if I felt anything or not because I was too busy doing that.
Right
So,
on. That's awesome. You should start
singing
a
is a high
screamo
too.
rehab.
Yeah, it's a good thing because singing gets you high. Okay, it activates the same endorphin. So I think that I counteracted it doing that. You know what I mean? Like there's natural highs out there. You just got to utilize.
Yeah, I remember when I was doing a lot of opioids, I came to my buddies that I'd get high with, and I was just like, "Yo, boys, like, I got the secret. Like, so I've been in doing this thing called meditating, and I can meditate now enough to get fried." And then
Give
like,
the Buddha treatment.
yeah, some people like they like did it, and they were like, "Oh, like this is great, like awesome," you know?
Yeah, yeah, there's natural ways. You don't got to sit in the corner and cry like most people do. Like I always said that if you take a guy, you put him in a basement, and you do that like the hamster thing, where you just feed them just a little bit of alcohol a day, and you do it less and less and less until they're off of it all the way. That's a way better way to do it. But if you do that, you get arrested because that's called kidnapping. But I think it's a good idea. You
I
know,
I think
lock them
there's
in a
like
basement.
the legal version of kidnapping though, which is like institutionalization.
Well, that's at will though. Anybody can walk away from that whenever they want. It's not like a forced thing. What I'm suggesting is you take them, you put that in the room, right? But you don't give them the choice to leave. They're there until they're off the drugs. Okay? No signing papers, none of that. It's just that's the folks. We kidnap you, put you in a basement, and weed me off of it whether you like it or not. Good luck.
Right on. And what would they be doing the whole time? Just chilling?
Yeah, just give them a book. Make them read a little bit. For the first couple of days, they'll probably like scream and bounce off the walls or whatever. But after a while, they'll start looking at that book like it's gold. And then they'll start reading it, and then they'll get lost in it, and then they'll discover the joy of reading. You know.
Yeah.
You gotta inject positivity into their life, forcefully.
Make them read The Hobbit.
Yeah, that's a good book to start with. That was my first book, The Hobbit.
Was it?
It was, yeah.
It is a good
First book I
read.
ever read. It is, yeah. I say it's better than Lord of the Rings as a whole. Because it's like, first of all, it was the first one, and it's like a standalone thing. And the story is like, it's wrapped up, you know what I mean? It's got the beginning, it's got the middle, it's got the end. Whereas the Lord of the Rings is kind of open-ended, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, yeah,
And
you
you really
just get
gotta,
the whole story in one serving. But also, I don't know, I think The Lord of the Rings is cool in that it does just have so many open ends, too. Not even just like the ending and what happens, like after all this has occurred, but even like throughout the plot, they have like open endings for certain like events. Like when like Gandalf fights whatever that demon guy is.
yeah.
It's pretty well written.
Are you talking about the Balrog?
Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, 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 the big fire guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, the thing about the Lord of the Rings is you got to invest a lot of time in it. You know, it's almost better as a movie than it is as a book. Even though the books are way better than the movie, like with the Hobbit, it's the opposite. Okay, so they stretched out the Hobbit into the movies way too much. They put too much fluff in it. The standalone book is far better than the movie. I would recommend that over the movie every day. But the opposite with the Lord of the Rings. I'd say if you're going to get into the Lord of the Rings, you got to watch the movies first, and then read the books later if you feel so inclined. That's what I think.
yeah,
There's a lot to it because there's a lot more than just the Lord of the Rings too. There's the Silmarillion. There's the other ones I can't remember the name of. There's like a whole thing, the whole world, you know.
yeah. Tolkien did a good job of creating pretty vivid worlds.
Yeah. He was in the war. That's why he did the books.
Yeah,
It was
World War
part
One,
of his,
right?
yeah, it was part of his self-healing thing to write his experiences as a fantasy novel.
Oh,
There's a lot of realism in it.
interesting. I didn't know that part.
Yeah. Yeah, Tolkien was an interesting dude. Another good series is the Redwall series by Jacques something. Forget his name, but they turned it into a show. That's how I got into it when I was young. It came out on CBS or whatever. It's about a bunch of like anthropomorphic animals, and it's almost like the Lord of the Rings, but it's a little different. It's set in the medieval era, and they do different things, like they go on journeys and stuff. And this one guy comes and kidnaps a bunch of children from the monastery, and then they have to go find them and kill them or whatever, and get the children back. Good series.
What's it called?
Redwall.
Redwall. I'll have to give it a look. And that's
Yeah.
just books, right?
No. They made 2 of the books into a cartoon. I wouldn't recommend watching it though for kids. But the books, they're more for adults. You know what I mean? A lot of
Okay,
gore and that kind of stuff in it.
right on. Have you ever
Yeah,
looked into Russian literature?
no, not really. No.
At some point, I don't know, you should give like Dostoevsky a read, because some people argue he's like one of the best like writers of all time, and if you read his work too, it's pretty cool. Even though it's translated from Russian, and I'm sure if you could read Russian, it would be like way more clever in its wording, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the
What's it
stories
about?
are crazy. They have a, well, like Dostoevsky's the author, but he has a bunch. There's also Tolstoy too. There's
Oh, I've
like
heard of Tolstoy. Yeah.
yeah, Tolstoy's most famous is War and Peace, and that's like the Napoleonic Wars. And that book
Yeah.
has like 500 active characters that he wrote.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, and then Dostoevsky, he has a few different books. A lot of them are generally like surrounding like some kind of murder, like death, but like one of them too is based off his real life experience where he was ordered to execution like after he was sent to the gulags or whatever, and then they were about to shoot like 9 people that he was with because they were part of this like political movement or something like that. And then right before they were about to execute them, they all got notes that they were pardoned. And then out of all like the people he was supposed to be executed with, he was the only one that lived because they all just killed themselves after that.
Oh, wow.
He has a story about that too. I forgot. I think it's The Idiot. That's the book that he describes that in, but he has like The Idiot, Crime and Punishment, which is um I'm as far as I remember also about a murder. Like this dude that's renting out from like this landlady murders her, and then it like just goes through his like moral dilemmas about what he did.
Huh. You should
And
send me those names. I'll look them up.
yeah, like
I've heard of Tolstoy before.
I could send you probably like audiobooks of it too if you want. Like I'm sure they're online
Yeah,
for
okay.
free.
Yeah, yeah. Then I can listen to it while I'm working. Good idea.
Yeah, I'll see if I could find ones that you can download, not just on YouTube, but they're 100% on YouTube.
Oh, are they? Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
just rip stuff off of YouTube anyways. I'm an internet thief.
Oh, okay, yeah, just use one of the download programs there.
Yeah. I tell like every song that I have, other than the ones that I did, they're all off of YouTube. I don't
Right
do
on.
albums. I
Oh,
don't
I
buy
wanted
music
to
off of
ask you
Spotify, none
too
of that crap.
for the files there so I can include them in the episode because I don't know how to download off Spotify. Or not
Oh, I can
Spotify,
send you the files. Yeah,
SoundCloud.
yeah. Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, right on. Yeah, like the Dropbox or whatnot would work.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll find a way. Dropbox is probably the easiest.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I just want to include it like at the beginning of a couple of episodes, like when we do them together, so people can go to that too, like put the link in the description.
Alright, sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta put more up there. I'm forgetting to do that.
Do you have more just stored away?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
got lots. Yeah.
Is that just off your phone that you recorded?
Yep.
Right on. It
Yeah,
doesn't
then I'm
sound
gonna
like bad at
professional
all
now.
for on a phone.
It doesn't sound like it's on the phone?
Like it doesn't sound bad on like the phone quality.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, so I tried it with a variety of different phones, and I found one that worked really well. Okay, for some reason, the microphone on this phone was fantastic. It was the LG G4.
Okay.
The one with there's different versions. There's one with a plastic back, and then there's one with a leather back, like real leather. And that was the one that I used. Now, the one with the plastic back wasn't as good as the one with the leather back for some reason. They must have switched the microphones or whatever, but it was the best microphone in a phone that I've ever seen in my life. That's the ones that I used to record them.
The leather made a natural pop filter for you there.
Yeah, something. I don't know what it was. But, yeah. I'm sure the newer phones have better microphones. I haven't really tried any of those. I use a Huawei, one of the older ones. So,
Okay.
because I prefer Chinese phones because they're better.
Yeah, my
They don't
phone's
break
not
like,
nothing
iPhone and all that
shabby.
crap. Fucking Samsung. Samsung sucks. I hate Samsung.
Whenever I break a phone, I just go to the service provider I'm with and I just ask them what their cheapest smartphone is. Like
I only
working,
ever did that once. I
pardon?
bought two phones. I only ever did that once. I bought two phones from Virgin. They were LG G3s. That's how I got into the LG G phone series. And they were all right, but they cost way too much. They were like $500 a piece. I'm still paying them off. Well, not really. They went to collections or whatever. But yeah, so I buy all my phones off of Kijiji or Craigslist. Every phone I've ever had, other than those two, I've always gotten secondhand.
Huh. The ones
Yep.
I got were like anywhere from like 100 to 350.
Well, that's not too bad. That's about what I pay for mine. I have
Yeah,
a rule that I don't pay more than $400 for a phone. It's
yeah.
drop and break anyway.
Yeah, especially like working the trades, I would go through phones like once every 3 months, maybe.
Yeah, and you know what? You could pay me $1 million. And I'm not even joking. You could pay me $1 million right now to use an iPhone exclusively, and I'll say no. Fuck that. You keep your iPhone, you shove it up your ass. I
I
use
think I
Android,
might
baby.
take it, but I would just not use a phone besides like a payphone somewhere, or just use like I don't know, like Instagram to call. That's all I would have, just Instagram or like WhatsApp to call people.
I don't know. It's a principle for me. I don't like iPhones that much.
I don't
I hate them.
either.
They're waste of space.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not a fan. It's just so much harder to do anything on them.
Yeah. It's
Like,
like the interface is just built for children. I'm not a child.
yeah,
I know I
exactly.
could work my way around a phone, okay? I don't need you to tell me.
Yeah.
Fucking can't stand it.
Oh, you want to upload an MP3? Like, how about you convert it to like an iTunes file and have iTunes scan all your files and have this long
Yeah, exactly.
45-minute process to do it.
But everything's proprietary with stuff. I hate that. Like even the chargers, man. They tried to. Okay, so in Europe, I don't know if you read about this, but they had to switch to USB-C, right? Europe made them do that. It's a law. Well,
Yeah.
you know what they did? They said, fine, we'll do that, but if you have to buy Apple USB-C, they made a proprietary USB-C that you can't use in other phones. Like, what the fuck, man?
Why can't you use
That's
it on
how
other phones?
if they put a software in the wire that makes them only work with iPhone.
Huh.
Yeah, Europe caught onto that and they said, nope, can't do that. That's against the rules. So now they have to do it anyway. They have to come out with the USB-C, the regular one. They don't like it. They thought about pulling out of Europe because of that, but they make too much money. So,
Yeah.
but that's Apple for you, you know.
Yeah, I always found
There
it
you go.
funny how people would say that if you have a Mac, you can't get viruses.
That's funny. That makes me chuckle.
I've
You're like,
met a
actually,
lot of people that thought that.
it's not true. Like even back in the old days, it's not true. You can virus anything as long as it's hooked up to the internet. You can get through.
You
People
don't
don't
even
understand
have to
what the
have it
internet
hooked
is.
up to the internet. You can put like a USB in it or whatnot, or you know.
Yeah, there's ways. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. No system is 100%.
Yeah, like people should really read up what the internet is. Okay, a lot of people think that it's satellites hovering over us. That's not true. It's cables underneath the ocean. They're all connected. It's all connected to itself. Every computer that's on the internet is connected to every other computer on the internet. That's how the internet works. It's all a bunch of servers, which are just giant computers.
Yeah, more or less. There's also like DNS and the way it's actually organized. There's like a few steps in between.
Yeah.
Well, it's been good having you on. I think we're.
Good to be back.
And that concludes episode 20 of the Moonbase podcast. Stay tuned for next week where we talk to a dude from Kiev who had a first-hand look on the war going on there between Ukraine and Russia. And it's a pretty interesting episode, so stay tuned and stay frosty.